And around that 12,800, 900 year boundary, we find something called the Younger Dryas layer. And we find this layer all around the world, in areas from North America to the tip of South America in Chile. We also find the Younger Dryas boundaries in South Africa, as well as in Europe. In fact, most of these indicators, at least in the early days of this work, came from archaeological sites in North America, the Clovis sites that go back to around 13,000 years ago. So it's a very well-defined strata layer that we see in the ground that we can define to specific dates. And this consists of a black matte layer, and just below that we also find what we would term impact proxies. Things like shock-synthesized nanodiamonds, magnetic spherules, large quantities of extraterrestrial platinum and iridium metal groups. These proxies are really only formed in the extremely high temperature conditions that occur during cosmic airbursts and cosmic impacts. A cosmic airburst is essentially a cosmic body coming into the atmosphere, and instead of burning up smaller particles when they come in, meteor showers when we see them, that's a piece of rock or something from a meteor stream burning up in the atmosphere. But if you have a large enough body, it might come into the atmosphere and just be heated up by that transit through the atmosphere and then explode. Essentially like a nuclear bomb going off in the sky.
Geologic evidence from around the world, and scientists are looking at this Younger Dryas boundary layer that tells us that that was the time period and that was the place in history where cataclysms across the Earth, from volcanism to potentially extreme solar events to even cosmic impacts.
In the ice core samples, we can see the evidence for just tremendous biomass burning. We're talking something in the order of 10 million square kilometers of the biomass on the planet, which could have been as much as 8 or 9% of biomass burning during this period. This may have triggered the nuclear winter effect that actually was a leading cause to the deep freeze, the deep plunge back to a glacial maximum state of temperatures that occurred after the start of the Younger Dryas.
To understand what happened 12 and 13,000 years ago, we have to go beyond just the Earth. We have to look at this whole solar system as a unified system, and that something can then disrupt that.
When we look to the beginning of the Younger Dryas, and we see the various calamities and catastrophes that hit our planet, we have to wonder where this comes from. And in between Mars and Jupiter, there's an area that we call the asteroid belt. And inside this mysterious belt, there's over 1 million different asteroids that are over 1/2 mile in diameter. Now, there is a major debate as to the origin of this asteroid belt, but if we look to ancient Sumerian texts like the Enuma Elish or the Law of One in modern times, we hear that the debris in this field comes from the remains of a giant watery planet that was destroyed. There's been various names for this planet like Tiamat, Mulgay, Nibiru, Phaeton, even Maldek.
Tiamat disintegrates into however many pieces, becomes the asteroid belt circling the sun between Mars and Jupiter. What if there are fragments of that planet that escape that orbit, and that becomes the comet that triggers the Younger Dryas? Many researchers believe that the Younger Dryas is caused by a cometary impact. Well, where did that comet originate from?